Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Sarback. Welcome to The Buzz, Newsday's weekly series covering the hottest trends in music, movies, television, and so much more. Our guest today is an actress who starred in some absolute favorite movies and TV shows from the 90s, including Clueless, Beverly Hills 90210, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Actress and now author, Elisa Donovan from Northport. Hi Elisa, welcome to The Buzz.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We are so excited to have you with us. Now, I know our tone for this show is going to be a little bit different than usual because we do want to hear about your new book. It's a memoir about some pretty tough topics. You cover love, loss, and hardship. So what originally sparked the idea for Wake Me When You Leave?
Well, it basically encompasses the period of time where I lost my dad to cancer. Sabrina was canceled, and the relationship that I was in ended with the person I thought I was going to marry. So, over the course of this very short period of time, I was essentially stripped of everything that made my life make sense to me and everything that kind of gave me a sense of safety and purpose. And my dad started to come to me in dreams and otherworldly sort of experiences that really helped me to heal and to it really changed my life pretty dramatically.
How long
It's
did it
also funny though. It's also funny because I'm inherently a funny person. So it's also humorous, but it's pretty deep.
How long have you been working on it?
So my dad passed away years ago in 2004, and I first did this as a one-woman show, as a play at the Geffen Theater in Los Angeles. And then I started to write it as a book, and I put it aside, and then I got married and had a baby, and then I wrote it as a film, and the film is now in development. And then about 2 years ago, I went back to the book and started really more seriously writing it. And then the deal came together right as the entire world was shutting down. I honestly, I signed the deal, I think the day after my daughter's last day of school last spring. So it was a very strange process to be writing this book about grief and loss while kind of the whole world felt like it was also grieving in a strange way. So it's a long process that essentially all came together in the past year and a half to 2 years.
And I know you said you're not new to writing. You've also written pieces for Chicken Soup for the Soul. You've been voted reader favorite as a celebrity mom blogger for People.com. But an entire memoir like this, it seems like it really would be a whole new challenge and an extremely personal one during this very difficult time for a lot of people.
Definitely. I mean, this whole year has changed everyone's lives just exponentially and differently for everyone, depending on your individual circumstances. And just the logistics of having to write at home while my daughter has been distance learning in her bedroom and my husband is working in the guest room. And it was a challenge to say the least. And my daughter's back in school now, and she's been on campus 4 days a week, so that's been a blessing for everybody. um, but it's been an incredibly challenging year, and I really hope that this book gives people a lot of hope when they are going through challenges and grief in particular. And it's a long labyrinthine road that you have to kind of just walk through. And I ultimately really think it's a hopeful book, and I hope that people get a lot of peace and kind of hope from it.
I feel like you've really explained it very well. We're excited to see it come out. And I feel like you've taken so many difficult times in your life, including a difficult time during the pandemic, and you've really channeled this energy into something that's inspirational. It seems like you're showing the audience that they can really make it through anything if you can make it through all of these things.
I first of all, thank you for saying that. And that elates me because that's what I want people to really take away from it. That I think in our culture especially, we're not comfortable with discomfort. and we don't want to be difficult things, and challenging things can feel like they're ugly, or we want to hide them. And, I really think that these things are a part of life, and we all go through challenges of varying sorts. And these things, we can really come through them with a greater sense of humanity and of what real joy is. And I think, when we can take these things as an opportunity to expand ourselves and enhance our lives, that's kind of the point, that things happen and it doesn't have to be the end in any way.
Elisa, how much can we expect you to touch on your time in Hollywood in the new book?
There are definitely Hollywood stories, because, and a few boyfriends who everyone's names have been changed. So this all happened while I was finishing up Sabrina, there's a little bit of that. And then when the first couple of jobs I had in that year, I definitely talk about, because it was, my first time going back to work amidst all of this turmoil. And, in an odd way, which I talk about in the book, all of the roles that I was playing were in some way mirroring things that were going on in my life. So it was a somewhat surreal experience that, while it was happening, it was surreal, but especially when I look back on it, I think, this idea that everything happens in the way it should, and the timing is this kind of otherworldly thing, it's really proven to be true for me.
Do you miss working on projects like Clueless and Sabrina?
I love acting. I know that I will always keep acting, but the film version of this book, which is in development, I will be directing, and I am not going to be in as an actress. But I definitely want to go back to acting too. So I do when I'm writing, I don't miss it, but then in the in between times, I miss it. I miss that collaborative kind of work. So yeah, I look forward to going back to it.
Well, it's interesting to see. You have so many facets in your career, and I'm excited to see the next one for you. I know that you live out in California now, but originally a Long Islander, so I do want to know, how often do you get back?
I was just actually doing a podcast for a friend of mine who also is from Long Island. And so my family lives in North Carolina, and they have lived there for many years. When I moved to LA, they left Long Island. So every time I go back to New York City, which is fairly, well, in the past year, I haven't been back at all, but
normally,
normally, I almost every time that I go to the city, I go out to Long Island to see friends. And the last time we were there, I brought my husband and my daughter, because they had never seen the town I grew up in. And we went to my high school, and, I just kind of showed them my old house that I grew up in. And it's changed so much, and I don't have as many friends there anymore. A lot of people have moved, but it's one of my favorite places. I loved growing up there. I loved it.
It's a great town. And when you came back, I have to know, did you bring them to get pizza and bagels?
Yes.
You have to.
Yes. Pizza and bagels. Well, my husband is from New Jersey, so he has some, sense of it, but there's always that little competition between Long Island and New Jersey, right?
That's a big competition.
Yes, I obviously am partial to Long Island, and I make it
be
very clear that is true.
Hey, Elisa, once a Long Islander, always a Long Islander. Actress and author Elisa Donovan, great to have you with us. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. This was great.
Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
For more on actress and author Elisa Donovan and other Buzz guests, head on over to newsday.com/thebuzz. Elisa's new book, Wake Me When You Leave, will be available on June 8th. Can't wait to give it a read. For Newsday's The Buzz, I'm Marissa Sarback.